why didn't you pursue a medical career? I wanted to be a surgeon, and I had every opportunity to go down that road. And I was a little lost in my early 20s and teens. The reason I didn't go into it was that I realized the medical system for what it is. It's a hyper bureaucratic system that has put a gargantuan middleman between the patient and the physician. And the vast majority of physicians are getting burnt out and don't enjoy practicing medicine unless they're independently wealthy, or they can construct fantasy bubbles where they can practice medicine the way they want. They don't care about the consequences, either because they don't need the money or they're willing to lose their license. And this idea of spending decade plus of my life to become something where I have no relationship with the patients, I have really no say in the protocols or treatments, because you have to follow evidence-based, standard of care, which is picked by pharmaceutical companies and bureaucrats and insurance companies, and also the hyper bureaucracy where the majority of your time you spend with the physicians doing paperwork instead of doing medicine. And then when you know that there are things that can massively improve the health of the patient, but you're not allowed to do those things because of bureaucracy or regulations, that was a pretty bitter thing. And we all are kids, and we have these fantasies that doctors are a certain way. I just had a sneak peek behind the curtain because my father was an internist, and his father was an OBGYN. And we went from my grandfather practicing medicine in the late 50s and 60s as an OBGYN, where there was no insurance companies, and he took cash pay and he delivered babies. And if the woman couldn't pay, he said, don't worry about it. And if they could pay, he paid. He made more money pre-Medicare than after Medicare came through. And he lived very well back in the 60s because, the rich paid for the poor. And he had a direct relationship with all of his patients to this hyper bureaucratic system. And now building a clinic, I experience it firsthand. I put about $100 million into my clinic in Gillette, Wyoming, and it's growing. We're at 10,000 square feet. It'll be 90,000 square feet by the middle of next year. And we have probably about 30 providers now. And it's a beautiful facility. And I put all this amazing artwork and technology and all these great providers into it. But every step of the way, we've been dealing with not only the bureaucracy, but just the stupidity and pettiness of people. The local hospital has been a nightmare to deal with, and they're led by stupid people. And all of the small town politics come in. We had to fight for months to get building permits when we knew damn well, and they knew damn well, that we'd done all the work right. Eventually we got the permits, but the problem with that was it pushed our construction deadline. So now we have to build during the wintertime. And we told them that. We said, if you delay these permits, I'm going to be pouring concrete and doing dirt work, which we're doing right now, in November, in December. It gets down to -40 with tons of snow and 100-mile-an-hour winds in Gillette during the wintertime. It's a hellscape. It's a frozen hellscape during the winter. It's so hard to build there. So now our construction workers have to go out and just deal with that. They didn't care. I don't know why, and it's extraordinary to me that when you want to try to do something new and revolutionary that benefits lots of people and saves lives, that so many people get in the way of that for no benefit of their own, just for the sake of preserving and protecting a system that's harming people. It's a strange thing to me. We had one patient come in, and she'd gained quite a bit of weight in a short period of time. And her doctor said, hey, you're fat. You need to go on a diet. And our doctors looked at her and said, you're in heart failure. I just don't understand how you make mistakes like that. But you see it. And when you do, you can correct it as best you can, and it saves lives usually. But the fact that it took this kind of investment from private sector and all this stuff to prevent it from maturing and growing, it's an indication that it's a deeply unhealthy and deeply sick industry, which, by the way, makes a lot of money for people. It's a $4 trillion industry in the United States. It's one of the largest. And it's not led by and for the people. It's led by and for private equity groups, insurance companies, and pharmaceutical companies. And they don't give a shit at all about your health.